first of all, good afternoon. I'm really happy to be here in Enugu. I grew up here, and when I grew up, Enugu was, in my mind, the best place in the world. I can remember the first time I got to Lagos, that I consciously remember being in Lagos. I was horrified at the time as a kid because I couldn't understand what this was. I was coming from Enugu. And then I got to London, and I thought, please take me back to Enugu. I mean, Enugu was really truly the place of my dreams. It's a place where I grew up. It's a place where I just have nothing but positive memories. So it's wonderful to be here today. It's funny, I've been listening to all the incredible speakers here today. And we've been sitting up there talking with a couple of the guys who have to speak after, which is always a terrible thing to have to do when you have to follow younger, better looking people, you know, who are still skinny, who still look the part, you know, but, you know, we'll do our best. So anyway, as I was thinking about it, I was thinking really my journey started in Enugu, even though it was not conscious. And it's really about maybe 2012 that I even worked out what I was doing, because I saw a very famous TED speech by a gentleman called Shashish Tharoor when he was talking about India and the soft power of India. And if you ever see that speech and you're a Nigerian and you watch it, you probably immediately see Nigeria. And that's what happened to me. And the funny thing was I had been doing what he was talking about for the previous maybe 8 years, but I wasn't calling it soft power. Now, what is soft power? Soft power is really an aggregation of the CCI, the cultural, creative, and information industries. So what we're talking about is innovation, creativity, architecture, music, film, theater, dance. And the fact that these things actually agglomerate and have much more power than hard power, which you would look at as military industrial complex and that sort of life. Now, Enugu itself has always been a center of soft power. But I think one of the things you must understand about soft power is that you must be able to tell the story. I was watching the performances earlier and I was thinking, thank God, we still have the talent here, and it's incredible to see, and I'm very happy to see it, because that is the talent that you have to push forward to the world. The most important thing in this world, we're in the age of storytellers, and you must understand that. So the best story wins. And if you're not telling your story, you don't even have an opportunity. So the key thing is to tell your story, and then when we begin to think beyond just the sort of, let me say, beyond being non-specific about just storytelling, let's get into the strategic linkages of the Southeast and all of us here in Enugu can look towards. Enugu has always had a huge academic tradition with a lot of schools around here, which means that there's young people, there's vibrance, there's education, and I could see all of that playing out earlier today from the performances, from the people who are trying to organize the event. Now, when you take all of that energy, the other things you need to happen to actually activate your soft power is for an enlightened government to be involved, to create the environment, the ecosystem, to actually enable you to do what you're doing in a better and a stronger way. The truth of the matter, in this world today, the soft power industries are by far the biggest industries. The IP industries, whether you're talking about Silicon Valley, whether you're talking about Hollywood, whether you're talking about architecture, technology, it all comes from the brain. It's not about how much muscle you have. It's not about what gender you are. It's about how intelligent you are, how original your thinking is, and how your ability to express it. Now, the thing about expression and storytelling is that storytelling doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sit here and write a story. There are many types of storytellers. You've seen some of them on stage, the poets, performance art, spoken word, rappers, singers. But there's also fashion designers. There are people that do food. There are people that are on-air personalities. All of these people are storytellers, and all of these people have a role in the value chain. The thing about it is that, unfortunately, what I see is this disconnection. And the disconnection is we have not been able to see a strategic linkage between soft power and our hard power. And what do I mean by our hard power? What does everybody say about Igbo people? Oh, they're commercial. They're business. They like money. I'm not yet to meet any human beings that don't like money, by the way. So that liking money is not a negative thing. But I think we can elevate the conversation. If we have all these markets, Newi's around the corner, Onitsha's around the corner, Aba's around the corner, we need our academic communities to engage our markets. We need to engage our traders to change the conversation. because we are not changing that conversation. We are not able to monetize our own talent. The biggest market for every Nigerian is actually Nigeria. When you see Wizkid and Davido flying all over the world, it's still because the domestic market is not being operated at the right way. Wizkid has not done a national tour in Nigeria. P-Square have retired. They never toured Nigeria. P-Square could actually have toured Nigeria 10 years in a row, 40 concerts in 40 stadiums every year for 10 years. Every time I see them, I tell them, you probably left 10 billion naira on the tour. You left it. But it's not their fault, it's our fault. Because we have 400 universities, we have 45 stadiums, and they're all empty. And this is a disconnect between the asset holder, which tends to be government, the business community, which is not necessarily looking, and then the talent and the creatives. The creatives need to be able to partner with hard power, which means partner with business, partner with legal, partner with accountancy. You need those things. Don't buy the hype. Yeah, you see it on TV. Jay-Z has 85 people working in his company. It's never one individual. You need a number of individuals, and you need a team to be successful. So if I look at the East, what I always think about is Aba should really be the place where Nigerian brands are monetized, produced, and sold to the rest of the world. So if I'm Omotola, or D'banj, or Two-Face, or Wizkid, or anybody you've ever heard of, JJ Okocha, Kanu Wankwo, where's our merchandise, where's our product? Those are the things that we should be pushing. We have created superstars who have enormous following, enormous audiences, but the product is not existing, and we are the ones that have to make the product. But in order to make the product, we have to protect rights, okay? Which means we must educate our markets. It sounds clever when the TEDxAsata t-shirt should be able to sell. You should be able to sell it and retail it. The problem is if you try to make it by tomorrow, somebody else has done it, they've infringed on your license, you can't make any money. Then people say, oh, it's a hustle. It is not a hustle, it's economic sabotage. Because I spend all my money building my brand, then you just come from nowhere and monetize it and reduce it to nothing. We cannot keep doing this to ourselves, and this is what we've been doing. This is self-inflicted, okay? That self-infliction also stops investment. I always hear people talking about investment. Money only goes where it feels safe. It's a very simple relationship. It's not about where you are. For me, and I got into town yesterday, I was moving around, I was so happy to be here. And I was thinking, my God, look at the vibe in this town. This town has so much positive energy. And if you've got positive energy, you've already got a beginning. You've got creative talent, you have that too. You have the academic schools. What you now need is enlightened government. You need to enforce rights, and you need to actually tell your story. And when you tell your story, you tell it in many different ways, through many cultural lenses. And I was excited that it was Asata, because obviously that is the most diverse place in Enugu for anybody who grew up here. We understand that. And I think it is wonderful to see a progressive and an inclusive approach from young people in Enugu. Because what that does, it reminds me that our most hopeful days are ahead of us, okay? The reality of this country and this world and this opportunity is that it is only going to get more African. The world is getting blacker. There is more interest in our content, our fashion, our attitude, our literature, our talent than there has ever been. When I was your age, when I was in my 20s, nobody was paying attention. That's just the truth of life. You could shout all you wanted to shout, but nobody was paying attention. Today, everybody's paying attention. Everybody. Anywhere you go in the world and you're a Nigerian, the first thing they're going to be talked about is not going to be 419. It's going to be about the music. It's going to be about Nollywood. It's going to be about the food. It's going to be about jollof rice. Okay? It's about our personality, our attitude. But the reality is, there are a couple of things I wanted to leave with for you to think about. A lot of times when you're in Nigeria, what you hear about are the things that separate us, you know? We're not the same, we're not this, we're not that. I think it's a complete lie. I'm fortunate and privileged to have traveled to a lot of places and lived in a lot of places. And one thing I can tell you for free, anywhere I am in the world, if I'm 100 meters away and I see 500 people and maybe 20% of them are black, I can identify the Nigerian. It doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, I can identify the Nigerian. The Nigerian DNA is unique. It's clear. The confidence is overwhelming. Yeah? There are a couple of things I want to ask you guys to see whether you agree with me about what it means to be a Nigerian. Okay? Can we agree on just a couple of things? Nothing tribal, just personality issues. Can we agree that Nigerians are intelligent? Yes. Okay. Can we agree that Nigerians are resilient? Yes. Can we agree they're resourceful? Yes. Can we agree they're creative? Yes. And they have energy? Yes. And emotion? Yes. Maybe too much emotion. Yeah? But the most important thing is if you take all of those things together and you really look at who you are and where you're from, just be confident. Yeah? The confidence that the young Nigerian puts out into the world is what is actually enabling us to move forward at this time in the world. That is what enables us to go forward. Always look to the future, but don't forget the past. I don't know if you know, but Enugu is the first place in Africa that had mainframe computers administering government in 1972. Right? You had IBM computers in this town. So when you talk about innovation, Enugu is a leader in innovation. Nnewi has been an automobile technology leader for decades. And I keep telling my friends in the Nigeria technology leadership that they actually should be studying the guys in Nnewi to come and see how they can extract more value and change the future. And for the young people here, and anybody in the Southeast, I think it's really important to think about the next 10 years. Because the next 10 years, with mobility, with technology, everything's about to change. I really wish I was 25, 30, because I think you guys have an incredible opportunity in front of you. But there's also a lot of danger, okay? These are our markets, Nnewi, Onitsha, Idumota, all these markets. They may not survive if they do not transform themselves to platforms and engage technology. They may not survive. And I think that is really, really important. I don't know what's happening with my speaker. But I think that's really, really important. And most importantly, just to finish up everything I'm saying, stay positive, engage, most important. And remember, when we grew up, we didn't have mobile, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have any of those things, so we couldn't actually talk to anybody. Today, you have access to everything. You actually have access to everything. So the cultural storytelling should come from Enugu. ROK did the biggest media deal in the history of this country. It was done from Enugu. I never heard Enugu celebrate it or take ownership of it. So Enugu could easily be the Nollywood production center of West Africa. It's in your hands to make it happen. I hope you do, because soft power already runs the world, which means Enugu can also run the world. Thank you very much.